believe we should be recording. Do you guys see the red dot, I guess? So we will get started. It is 10 a.m. Thank you to everyone that is joining us today. We are really excited, obviously always about our SUSTA programs, but about 2021, as we're seeing many of you are as well. And so thank you for joining us today. It's an exciting opportunity just for us to hear from a lot of the SUSTA staff that you may just talk to on the phone. And so today you are getting the chance to see them. Just a little bit of my SUSTA account overview. So for the primary account holder, I'm sure you received an email from us this past week about when the primary account holder logs in, you will have this prompt that pops up. And it's just asking you to review your company information. And something that's kind of cool is that before you would have to input all of your products again. They should be pre-filled. So if you have just reviewing those products that you have already in our system and then editing or adding any others. So in order to register for 2021 events, you will have to confirm your account. And so something important to keep in mind is that it's not these boxes, it'll determine how you're reviewed. So if you are interested in global events, you will be reviewed for that event. It's not just asking you what your interests are, but that determines the review process. So keep that in mind. So if you are, if that's something that you seriously are considering, be sure to check those boxes as well. And then just a little overview, I guess, is how the whole confirmation process works as well. So once your account is reviewed on August 17th, 2021 events will be open to register for. So it's important that you get that done ahead of time so that on August 17th, you will be able to register for those accounts. And once your account is approved, the CostShare director, Deneen Wiltz, she will give you access to start on your CostShare application. So it can give you another head start to be ready for 2021. But I won't be talking too much more because I'm going to hand it off to our global events team, which consists of our director, Penny Lawrence, senior global events coordinator, Katie Caballero, and our global events coordinator, Angelique Rome. So I will let these wonderful ladies kind of update you on what's going to be happening in 2021 with our events and some exciting opportunities that are coming up.
Okay, well, thank you, Alistair. Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining our 2021 SUSTA Programs Kickoff Webinar. I am Penny Lawrence, SUSTA Global Events Director, and first, I would like to share with you a little information about global events. So global events are our SUSTA-sponsored activities. And through global events, we connect eligible companies with international buyers at premier trade shows and trade missions around the world. We sponsor approximately 45 to 50 global events each year, including major trade shows and USDA-led trade missions. Our member states' international staff work closely with SUSTA personnel to develop, organize, and manage global events from beginning to end. We also have expert consultants in major markets like Canada, China, Europe, India, Mexico, and Hong Kong to further support our SUSTA participants. Now, although this year continues to be a challenge, SUSTA is working closely with our consultants to create new and exciting opportunities for our companies. The 2021 program year is less than 5 months away, and we are very enthusiastic about our strategy. So as you heard, many of our 2021 global events will open for registration on Monday, August 17th. So if you have not confirmed your organization details yet, we encourage you to sign in and do that today. So now I'm going to turn it over to Katie Caballero, our Senior Global Events Coordinator. Katie?
Katie, you're muted.
On.
there you
Can you
go.
hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
All
Sorry.
right. Hey, y'all. So, good morning. I'm Katie. Our 2021 events are going to go live, as Penny mentioned, in a few weeks, and we have a lot of exciting events coming up. We will be working to adapt events to our to the global pandemic and things like that, as we've adapted our 2020 events, which is really great. We've offered some really new and exciting opportunities, such as virtual trade missions and virtual consultations. And our virtual consultations were really great in that our companies were able to connect with our European and our consultants around the world and kind of learn more about their market, as well as learn about their products in that market. So we're going to continue to move on and kind of try to offer new and continuing opportunities to all of y'all in our 2020 and 2021 program year. Angelique, do you want to talk a little bit about how we're adapting events to 2021?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Angelique. Our goal for 2021 is to facilitate in-person events. As this pandemic has shown, that's not always possible. It's not always an option. So where travel is prohibited or restricted, we're going to always create a backup plan. This year we had a few virtual missions take place. Our main goal is to support and facilitate events for our small companies. So we would always have an option for you guys, as well as waitlisting for an event. If you're interested in an event and it's full, please don't hesitate to waitlist for an event. Sometimes companies' plans don't always fall through. So if you see an event and you want to register for either a corner or inline booth, there's always a wait list that you can sign up for. And we also have new markets and exciting events in the upcoming year. In 2021, we would be having the ATO Japan. We were supposed to have that this year, but it didn't happen. So we are looking forward to it next year. Katie, do you have some events that's coming up next year that you want to talk about? Or you would like to mention?
We can't hear you, Katie. Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
I know she has some really exciting new markets that she wanted to mention.
Yes, we can hear you now, Katie.
There we go.
All right, great. So for 2021, we also have Peru, which is coming on board, which is really exciting. We're going to have an outbound trade mission. And also, just to piggyback on the wait list, it's really important that people do wait list if they're interested. As Angelique mentioned, it's a great way for, if a company is no longer able to attend, for you to move up into the event, but it also shows your interest in the event. And with how things are going now, sometimes we can add events and other opportunities. So if you wait list, we can often reach out to you directly and let you know what is happening with that event and see if we can move you in participating not only at the event or in a different capacity. So I know that we always have new events coming on board. We just want to remind y'all to continue looking at the SUSTA calendar, and we're always going to be adding new and exciting things.
Perfect. And I saw, Brian, you asked, and this may be the same question that a lot of people have. We will have a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to start sending them through in the chat or the Q&A, and we will answer all of those at the end. So you will have the opportunity to ask them. Perfect. Okay, so I will hand it off now to Missy, and she will kind of give you an overview of the CostShare team.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing? I'm sure I've met a few of you, or a few of you have received many emails from me since COVID or before, but we are happy to have you on the call. We're going to give it over to the CostShare team to talk about new things that are happening and about getting started with your applications for 2021. But I would like to encourage any companies that are new to this process and have not started, although you're recertifying, many of you may not have started the application process in the past, or you may be new to the application process, period. So in order to get started with the actual application, each company will have to go through a consultation process with me on the phone. So if you have not done so yet, please feel free to send me an email and let me know what time works best for you to go over everything a little bit more in detail, because this is going to be an overview, but we can go over expenses a little bit more in detail and talk about the actual ins and outs of CostShare. And then for those that I've actually spoken with, it's great to finally see you. But I'm going to turn it over to Deneen, who is our CostShare director, and to Tina, who is the liaison, who will be helping you actually fill out your application in the time to come.
Thank you, Missy, for that information. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Missy, can you go back to the slide that we previously had? So you notice we have the CostShare team, myself and Tina. We work on the front end as far as the application and contract process is concerned. We do have two other members, Kathy Trimmer. She's the senior CostShare expense claim coordinator. She's part of the team as well. She works on the back end as far as the expense claims when you submit your expense claim. We also have Pam Norvez. She is also a CostShare expense claim coordinator and part of the team. And then we also have Sonia Page, who is a part of our team as well. You don't see her or probably will not be communicating with her, but she is the backbone of our program and keeps us running as far as keeping a log of the company's product information, et cetera. So I just wanted to let you know that we do have other members of the team that are just not listed because Tina and I will be going through the front end of companies when they apply. Okay, Missy. All right, so some updates. The CostShare application now will be pre-filled for companies that previously worked on the application. So the contact profiles will be pre-filled. If anything needs to be changed, you will go and make those changes. The company profile will also be pre-filled. And most importantly, the product info. We've had many companies over the years asking why do they have to go in every time to add their brand products. Well, now they don't have to do that. So that information will be pre-filled. The only thing that you will have to do is if information has changed from a previous year. Okay, Missy. All right. So, woohoo, there is no more graduation that applies to MAP, the Market Access Program. Previously, we had a 5-year graduation rule that was part of the regulations, the USDA Foreign Agriculture Service, their regulations. And that 5-year graduation rule applied when a company received reimbursements in a particular country market for 5 years. So after that 5 years, they've graduated from the market. But that no longer exists. So there is no more graduation rule, which we are very, very happy. All right, Missy. Okay, so some of the marketing and promotional activities that you can do is listed here. I won't go into details for all of them, but I would like to concentrate on advertising, website development, packaging label changes, in-store displays, and direct mailing to foreign buyers. So for advertisements, you could do a whole slew of advertisements. You could do print ads, you can do billboard ads, you can do television ads, you can do radio ads. But the most popular thing now, because of this pandemic, is that companies are now concentrating on doing social media ads, such as Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, those sorts of things. The other thing is website development. So let's say that your website is in English, and let's say that you have Canada that's been approved in your application. Well, you may want to, change that website to be in French. So if you want to make a change to your website, we could assist with the website development. Packaging label changes. This applies only if a company is modifying its packaging or its label to be in compliance with the country's labeling requirements. The other thing that companies have been doing are in-store displays. So they may have an end-of-aisle cap where they rent the space to display their brand products. Direct mailing to foreign buyers, we've been seeing that too during this pandemic. You may want to send product samples and promotional materials to your foreign buyers in a foreign country. So that, like I said, this is the list of promotions that you can do through the CostShare program. Next, Missy. All right, and here are some examples. So you'll see to the far left of the screen at the top, that's a print ad. I think the next one is the Instagram ad. Right below that, you will see the Cheerios ad where, hold on, my screen went blank. Okay, so you'll see the Cheerios ad. So, and that's just, we're just using that as an example, Cheerios. But anyway, if your company was updating your website, you would, we would either see it in another language, foreign language. Let's use Canada again, for example. You may have it in French, or you may have a little flag on there where you could go to click onto that flag, the French flag, and then it'll take you to the page where you can see it in French. So that's some of the things that we could assist for. The other thing, if you notice on the page, you'll see the billboards and you'll see a storefront ad. So that's something else we could assist for. To the top of the page, where you see the shelf talker, we could assist for a shelf talker if you're going to have those in the stores, the design, the printing translation cost. And on the page, you will notice a display. So we can also assist for the rental space for that display for your company to promote your brand. So these are some of the examples where we could assist and where we've been seeing companies concentrating on. And like I said, again, mostly with social media because of the pandemic. The other most important thing is that you want to always make certain whenever you do your promotions for the 50% CostShare program that you are promoting your brand and have an eligible U.S. origin requirement statement, such as on this page you see made in the USA. Now, if you're going to have a flag, that would not suffice because that doesn't meet the requirement. But if you want to use the flag, you have to have that verbiage, made in the USA, or you just can have made in the USA without the flag. So those are some examples. Next page, please, Missy. All right, I'm going to hand it on to Tina. She is the CostShare liaison, and she assists me with applications. And she will be responsible if you, especially if you're a new company, to contact her to get assistance on working on this application. Tina, you now have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad that you finally get to connect a face to the voice on the phone all the time. I'm very happy to be here. So this part of the marketing plan, as Deneen and I like to tell companies, is the meat and potatoes of the whole entire application. And you want to be very mindful that you only put your definite plans onto your marketing plan. So let's say you had a marketing plan for Canada and you were going to do advertising, freight, and say an in-store demo. That's the only sections that you would fill out. If it does not apply to you, you don't have to put an A or a 0 there. Sometimes companies do that and it kind of messes up the balance of the marketing plan. So you don't want to put anything in there. I also like to tell new companies when they come on to fill out their applications that you only want to fill in your definite plans, and it's sometimes very difficult to try and figure out, especially coming in this early, to try and figure out all year's worth of your marketing plans, especially with what's going on now. So I strongly advise companies to just put on what they're doing maybe the first half of the year, the first quarter of the year, what they know they're definitely going to do, because there is a 6% administrative fee attached to the application, and you do not want to over budget because it is a non-refundable application fee or a non-refundable 6% admin fee. If you should go over your budget, you can always come back and amend. Just like if you don't list everything on your application because you don't know what you're going to do, and something comes up later on in the year and you say, man, I wish I would have put that on my marketing plan. Well, you can. You just have to call Deneen and say, hey, Deneen, I'd like to add another country market to my application that I didn't do before, and you can just do it go on there and change your marketing plan and amend your application. So I do tell companies when they first start, especially in the beginning of the year, for lack of better words, the application's not written in stone. You can make changes throughout the year, add stuff, add even new products if you'd like to. You just want to make sure that you're very mindful to just list what you know you're absolutely going to do right now, because I always say to companies, if you over budget, it's a non-refundable fee. We cannot fix it. But if you under budget, you can come in, amend the application, and we can fix that. So you just want to go through it. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate. Don't get stuck and say, man, I don't know how to get through to the next thing. It won't let me move forward, even if it's, throughout the application, not even the marketing plan. Feel free to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide companies from beginning to end with the application. I will be here for any questions that you have to help you through this whole entire process. And then once new companies or new contacts, once you have all your additional information on file or your application is complete, then you'll have a very thorough consultation call with Deneen and I to go over your marketing plan with you yet again. So you'll definitely have a lot of guidance and a lot of, for lack of better words, someone here to hold your hand through the whole process. And like I said, if you have any questions, I'm your girl. I'm the one that you reach out to via email. Usually I can respond to email since we're kind of in and out of the office right now quicker than phone calls. So like I said, just bear in mind, do what you definitely have plans to do for now, and we can add stuff throughout the year.
Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I guess we're just going to kind of roll into what seems like we have some questions for CostShare. So I'll let Missy kind of ask those questions to the CostShare team, and we can take it from there. And then after, we'll take on the questions for Global.
Sounds good, sounds good. So we had a few questions in no particular order, everyone, but we're going to get to all of them. So one of the questions I see, does it have to say made in USA or can made in the state of origin, i.e. made in Texas, be okay? And silly but curious, no, it's not silly. There's no such thing as silly questions at SUSTA. We like questions.
Yes, we always love questions. And the answer to that question is yes, you can use made in with the state spelled out in its entirety. So made in Texas would be eligible. That's a good question.
Okay, we have another one. In regards to the CostShare updates, if the info changes during the year, can the application be updated?
Very good question. Yes, you can always update your application throughout the year if there are changes, because we have seen where companies may have a contact with that company and that contact may no longer be employed with the company. So you can just always update your information to have a new contact, yes.
Okay, let me see. We have a few more coming in. Let me see if they are in regards to CostShare. Okay, for social media ads, do those have to be targeted to other countries to qualify for CostShare?
Okay, so when you're doing social media ads, you have to target a foreign country. Those are the only, any expenses that you see, the promotions that I mentioned or you saw on that list. When I talked about social media, that has to target a foreign country. So it cannot be just, like in the US, it has to be in a foreign country.
And to kind of piggyback on that, if you don't mind, Deneen, there have been a lot of companies that have been coming in for utilizing social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram. They've been hiring influencers in international markets to be a part of the promoting process. And then we've also had some companies trying to target with advertising, let's say on Amazon, how they have the side panels where it's focused to an international market. So I'd be happy to set up a call to go over different ways that companies are utilizing CostShare through social media with anyone who's interested. Another question for CostShare, besides no more graduation rule, are there any other new rules to 2021, i.e. maybe label changes, packaging?
Yes, so for packaging label changes, previously we had where companies had a 1-year supply that they could get reimbursed for. So for example, let's say in 2019, a company came in, and I'm gonna just make up a company name, D&T Food Company. D&T Food Company promotes D&T cookies, let's say lemon cookies. So for that year in 2019, if they had gotten reimbursed for that, we would not be able to reimburse them again in the next program year. Would that rule no longer apply? So long as you're changing your packaging or changing your labels to meet the country's labeling requirements, we can continue assisting you for that expense.
So we had another question come through. We ship frequently to Canada. Is CostShare available for freight? I guess that would also depend on, have you shipped already or not, but I'm sure Janine can answer that question.
Yeah.
For example, we ship I'm sorry, Janine, they added something else, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
For example, we ship entire containers full of tropical plants directly to Canada. Is it possible to apply for CostShare for this?
Okay, so for container loads, we're not able to assist with, but let's say that you were sending product samples to a foreign buyer, or let's say that you had product samples that you wanted to send if there were trade shows taking place or if they will take place in 2021. We can assist for your product samples to and from the trade show or to ship to foreign buyers, but not for container loads.
Perfect. And then just a few more questions for CostShare, and then we can get into global. But so one is, what 2 main reasons does an expense claim get rejected? If you could give an example of why.
There could be various reasons. So a company may submit, they may not submit the entire paper trail. And when I say the entire paper trail, we look at 3 key items. We look at the invoice from that service provider to the company. We look at the proof of payment from the company to the service provider, and a proof of activity. And that proof of activity can vary depending on the type of activity or promotion it is. So a company may not be able to get us the proof of payment for an expense item or a particular expense item. If they can't get us the proof of payment, then we would not be able to reimburse them. Another example is that the company may not be promoting their brand, or they may not even have a made in USA or an eligible US origin statement for their promotion. So for example, let's say that they were doing a social media ad. The social media ad shows their brand, but it doesn't have a US origin statement. So we would not be able to pay for that. So there's various reasons, but we do try to work with companies, and that's what Tina just mentioned about the consultations. So on the front end, we do a thorough consultation. Then on the back end, once the company has been contracted, and when I say contracted, that means that they signed the contract and they paid their non-refundable 6% administrative fee. They will also have a thorough consultation with an expense claim coordinator. So they'll have, like Tina said, we'll walk them through the process, hold their hands through the process. But there's various reasons that they can, an expense claim could be ineligible, but we do not like to see that. We like to see that, all expenses are eligible.
Absolutely, absolutely. And 2 more questions. One is, any major differences between MAP and ATP funding that companies should know about when applying?
All right. Previously with ATP, that applied for companies that graduated from the market, that 5-year graduation rule. And it also applies for companies that are 3 times the size standard. So with ATP, companies can apply for, if they're 3 times the size standard based on the SBA, Small Business Administration size standard, or they can do both. So let's say we have a company that did MAP. They come in for the full amount, for $300,000. That's the max that they can come in for MAP. But under ATP, if they want to do, another country, they can come in for extra funds under ATP for the $300,000. So there is no graduation rule, so they can still do MAP. If they graduated, but if they need extra funds, they could come in for ATP for the $300,000 max. That
Awesome.
means that they have to spend $600,000 to request $300,000 in reimbursement.
Awesome, awesome. And then so it says Mexico will, I keep trying to get to global, but we still have these awesome questions coming in for CostShare. So Mexico will require new labels by April 1st, 2021. Is there a spending cap on the reimbursement amount?
There is not a spending cap. You just want to make certain that you get the application in and get through the contracted process. So when you're contracted, you consider a participant of the program. So you'll have from that, whenever your application is complete, and that means we have everything on file and meets the program requirements, you will have from that application approval date to December 31st of 2021 to submit your expenses throughout the year for any packaging and label changes, as long as it meets the program requirements of, meeting the country requirements for labeling changes.
Okay, and then I guess this will be the last one. I'll try to make it twofold. I believe, Deneen, you mentioned as far as what happens when events are canceled, but a company asked, are we allowed to reduce our 2020 estimates due to trade shows being canceled? So are they able to go back and reduce the actual amount?
Absolutely. They can, Go ahead, Missy, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, absolutely. And then the second question was, are companies still able to apply for 2020 this year?
Okay, to answer the first question, a company can reduce their amount. So if you have submitted an application and you've been, approved for the application, or even before you become approved, you could reduce your amount at that time if you know that, trade shows have been canceled. However, if you've been contracted, and that means you sign a contract, you paid your 6% admin fee, we will not be able to reduce the amount because you've already paid the fee. So it's feasible to, when you're at the application process, to make certain that you budget wisely. And if think that the trade show may be canceled, and most of them have been, unfortunately, then that's when you want to reduce your budget. And the second part to your question, what was it, Missy? The company,
if it's not too late to still apply for 2020.
It is not too late to apply for 2020. Still, if you have promotions and based on your definite plans that would take place for the remainder of the program year, we can assist. However, you want to make certain that you get an application in and get approved, so you could be able to have that approval date, whatever that date. So let's say that you approve, you submitted an application April 15th. You're still going to have that very first of the month approval date, so you'll have, August 15th. So you'll have from August 1st to December 31st of 2020 to do promotions, but just make certain that you get an application in prior to conducting any promotions.
Okay, and then there was one kind of piggyback question that came through regarding actual amount of product contracted with an existing client in Mexico. The person that sent that question over, will you shoot that to us in an email so we can kind of give you a call and answer that more specifically, because I'm trying to understand exactly what it's in regards to, but we definitely want to get that question answered, and we want to have time for our global events team. So I know that was a piggyback to another question. So again, just send that question to Deneen at DENEN@SUSTA.org. I need one more cup of coffee, clearly. But send that over to Deneen, and we'll definitely get that question answered for you.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the last question for CostShare. So Alistair, you can go ahead on and take it away with the ladies at Global Events.
Perfect. Yeah. So during the presentation, there was a couple of questions that came through for global. So whoever wants to take these from the global events team, you are more than welcome to. The first one being, are there going to be outbound missions to Spain, South Africa, and the UK? Somebody was asking about those outbound missions.
Okay, so for Spain and the UK, we actually had outbound trade missions in our strategy for 2020 that were actually USDA led. The Spain outbound trade mission for USDA, they're trying to schedule that for later this year. And the UK, the UK, they're trying to schedule for later this year. And the Spain, they're going to try to reschedule early 2021. And as for South Africa, SUSTA actually does have a South Africa outbound trade mission in our strategy for 2021. It is scheduled to take place in April.
Perfect. Thank you. And then someone else asked, will consultants and show organizers be recommending hotels with cancellation policies in case 2021 events get canceled?
Well, our consultants definitely can do that. Trade show organizers usually refer hotels. I would hope that with everything that's going on, they will make sure that the hotels that they refer and recommend have cancellation policies.
And then someone else was asking about the, correct me if I pronounce this wrong, the Tutto Food Italy show. If that will be happening, or I guess an update on that specific show.
Tutto Foods is scheduled in our 2021 strategy. That show takes place in May. And as of right now, that is something that we're going to do.
Okay. And then someone was also asking about Sweden rescheduling their show. I don't know if there's any more information on that, but.
I'm not really
Yeah,
clear on
is
which
there any more information you can provide? It just says Sweden reschedule show. I don't know if there's any more. Sweden 2021. I don't know if you know what they're referring to specifically.
No, I'm not really sure what they're referring to for 2021.
Let's see. The Stockholm show was canceled, I guess is what they're asking. Maybe send this in an email to us and we can answer this one specifically. We can go back and forth and see what specifically you're referring to, because we do have some more questions. One of them being, will virtual consultations continue? Will virtual trade missions and shows continue to be part of SUSTA's plan? So are virtual consultations and virtual trade missions in plans for 2021?
So virtual consulting consultations was a pilot. When the pandemic hit, we were trying to create other opportunities for our companies to take place for them. We received really, really good feedback from our consultations. Companies had about 3 months to sign up to meet with our consultants in our key markets. Right now, we don't have any immediate plans, but we will actually consider adding this activity for the future. And as far as virtual trade missions, our goal is to execute in-person activities. However, with the pandemic, we're always going to have a backup plan. And of course, if we have a mission, it will certainly be converted to a virtual mission.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. We had another question come through about a specific event, Gulf Food 2021. I guess they're wanting more information on if that will be happening or what the plan is with Gulf Food.
I actually spoke to our U.S. trade show organizer this morning, and Gulf Food is ready to go. Gulf Food for SUSTA will open on August 17th, so be on the lookout for it and get out there and register for it.
Awesome. And then somebody else was asking, is the Central America outbound trade mission still on?
We actually had communications with our consultant this morning about that mission as well. Our consultant is actually checking with the ATOs in those 2 countries. So as soon as we have updated information, we'll let our participants know. But as of right now, we're looking to move forward with that mission.
Okay. And then someone was asking, is there any outbound for Germany, Berlin, or Munich? Are there any outbound trade missions for those?
We do not have any outbound scheduled for those markets. However, USDA may implement an outbound mission for one of those markets. So just keep an eye out on our calendar and check and see if we have any updates.
Okay. Yeah, I would. That's what I would recommend. I was going to say as well. Just keep an eye out on our calendar. We update it as soon as we know. And so just that's always a good reference point. Someone asked about, are there any passport regulations? Is there, I guess, in terms of traveling that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. You know, of course, there are travel bans in
Right.
certain markets, but I haven't heard of any type of passport restrictions right now.
Where, I guess, a follow-up that I have for that, where would be a good source for them to go to see any kind of travel restrictions, travel bans, regulations, or passport?
There's a certain website, and it escapes me right now. I can't think of it. If I think of it, I'll bring it up.
Include that in our email. We'll
Yeah.
send our follow-up emails after the webinars. So we can check that out and we can include that in our information for our follow-up. Another question that we have, let me see. Let's see. Does SUSTA send a survey following the virtual events?
Okay, I've been taking all the question. I'll let the ladies jump in. Katie, do you want to answer that question?
I think you might be muted, Katie.
Alistair, quickly, a good website is travel.org. They tell you like updated regulations to travel and bans and restrictions like that. And they update a lot.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you for that, for looking that up for us. So yeah, travel.org, is that correct, Anjali?
Travel.org, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I guess that would be a good reference point as well.
Okay, I'll jump in since Katie's muted about surveys. Surveys are available in your My SUSTA account for virtual trade missions as well.
Okay.
So you can access that through your My SUSTA account.
Okay. Did we get a question? Let's see. Q&A. Open, answered. Let's see. Okay. If an event gets canceled, what happens next?
So if SUSTA cancels an event, the company is refunded their participation fee. Companies want to really keep an eye out on registration deadlines, because if they're wanting to cancel an event, then they must do it before the registration deadline in order to receive a refund for their participation fee.
Okay, great to know. Another question, I guess in reference to the November Shanghai show, is that still a go? I guess what's the status with that show?
So as far as we know, Food Hotel China, which happens November 10th through the 12th, is still a go. Right now, they're really focused on Xiao China. That's going to happen next month. So we really haven't had any update on Food Hotel China, but we will certainly keep our participants in the loop.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess keep an eye out for emails with any updates on that. That's great. And can we still join the Korea show in September since other shows canceled?
Actually, Soul Food and Soul Food Hotel, which was scheduled in September, has canceled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that the Soul Food has canceled.
Yes.
Good to know. Let's see. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think we've answered everything else. Let me check the chat. Oh, looks like one more came through. Oh yeah, will we receive an email when a show is canceled? Yes.
I'm sorry, say that again, Alistair.
It says, will we receive an email when a show gets canceled?
Yes, if you're registered for that show, you will.
Okay, so if you're registered, yes, you will receive that email. Perfect. Not.
And I'm going to jump in really quick just to, since we're talking about shows getting canceled and international trade shows, sorry about that, Alistair. But I know a lot of times with CostShare, companies would come in to get reimbursed the 50% for exhibiting with us through a global event show or exhibiting on your own. Keep in mind that now with this virtual kind of platform that a lot of trade shows are taking, that we're still able to reimburse you to exhibit should an international show go virtual. So just call our office and let us know and speak with Janine regarding that. But we're trying to kind of stay ahead of the trend and keep up with what's happening. So again, any show that goes virtual that's in an international market, give us a call because hopefully there are ways that we can still help you. Sorry, thank you.
No, that's fine. It's great. Yeah, good to know that. Someone was asking, how can you get a China visa for Shanghai show with restrictions? Do you need a special visa given the pandemic? Penny, I think you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I think you would probably need to go to the Chinese website. I mean, I'm not really sure how that works, you know, with the pandemic, what's going on. So you could send me that email and I'll try to do some research for you. Okay.
So yeah, I guess we can put you in contact with Penny and if you need to have a more in-depth conversation about that. I am not seeing any more questions. I don't think I've missed anything. If for any reason, either on CostShare or Global, we have missed one of your questions, Missy and I will be following up with an email just to let you know when the webinar is ready to watch on our website. So yeah, keep that in mind. Just like all of our webinars, you can watch this one once it is uploaded. So it'll be a little bit before it's ready, but you can always watch them. So yeah, I guess there isn't any more questions, then we will wrap this up. We appreciate everyone that has joined today. It looks like we've had a great amount of participation, which is awesome. And so we appreciate you being here. The SUSTA staff is always here for you for 2020, 2021, and for years to come. So we appreciate it and we're here to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.